Hello, welcome to the RANsquawk US morning briefing for today, 30th of September. European equities did edge higher today and looked on track to post their best quarter this decade. The main focus was initially on the ECB's second 12-month 1% long-term repo operation fixed tender. Analysts were expecting the size to be around 137.5 billion euros. However, the actual take-up was only 75.24 billion euros, whereas 1,125 banks participated in the first tender. Only 589 participated this time. The results sent the signal to the market that banks are in a much better position now than at the time of the first tender. Liquidity is starting to filter out into the wider economy, and the money market is much closer to normality than has been assumed. The German curve is significantly flatter today as a result. German 2s and 10s flattest since beginning of August. The Euribor strip took a sharp fall following the tender, and the euro rallied. As risk appetite returned to the market, dollar index made new lows which pushed the WTI and gold to fresh highs. But since then we've seen a plethora of US economic releases, with ADP employment change coming in at minus 254,000 versus the expected minus 200,000. Though US GDP final for second quarter showed signs of improvement, but the US corporate profits constituent was still lower than the mean estimates. Then following that we saw Chicago PMI, which came in markedly lower at 46.1 versus the expected 52 that analysts were looking for. The employment and prices paid constituents did see improvements, however new orders declined. As such, equities on both sides of the pond hit session lows while fixed income moved to highs. The dollar index ticked higher, and this in turn put pressure on crude, which moved into marginal negative territory, but has since then pared back some losses after mixed weekly DOE data. Also, the VIX index moved up nearly 5% ahead of the quarter end. In terms of US equity specific news today, we saw decent earnings from both Mic and Micron Tech after market yesterday. Elsewhere, J&J is subject to speculation that it could acquire Biogen in DEC. Bank of America is to sell Columbia Management Unit to Ameriprise for $1 billion. That deal confirmed today. Also, Kraft has been given a 9th of November deadline to make a firm bid for UK-listed Cadbury. Boston Scientific is also to pay J&J $716 million for stent unit, while Oracle has acquired Hyperroll for an undisclosed amount. In other news, the fate of CIT Group is hanging in the balance as the lender readied a plan that would likely hand control of the company to its bondholders. If CIT does file, it would be the 5th largest bankruptcy filing in US history. At the open today, CIT shares did plunge around 40%. On the broker move front, Goldman Sachs price target raised to $220 from $180 at Credit Suisse, and Bernstein also upping 2009 and 2010 EPS estimates for the company. For Morgan Stanley, Bernstein has widened its 2009 loss per share view and cut its 2010 EPS estimates on the firm. And Nvidia has been named long research tactical idea at Morgan Stanley as well today. So looking ahead, we are expecting comments from Fed's Cohn and Tarullo later on.